Hi, this is Ivey, the fulfillment artist. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to stop procrastinating. Right, so first of all, what is procrastination? Procrastination is where there's something that we want to do, but we end up doing loads of other things instead. Right? And there are people all over the world that seem to have this issue, which is called procrastination. Right? And I'm here to tell you today, you don't have an issue of procrastination. You have an issue that you don't let yourself relax. Right? Because most people set like 7 hours of work that they have to do in a row, they get a little tired and they get distracted and then they start procrastinating, but really they just need to give their mind a little break from like all the hard work that they're doing. So what happens is we end up procrastinating because we don't allow ourselves to relax, right? I'm going to go through some other points, but I just feel like I needed to share that to begin with, okay? So now we need to think of, okay, we all have little procrastinations that we do in life, but the important thing is obviously to be aware of it. So what I want you to do is to make a list of the biggest things that you procrastinate on. Now, I know you're watching this video, but if you could pause the video now and just make a quick list of everything that you procrastinate on. Go. Now, hopefully you paused. If you're still watching this and you're like, oh, Ben, I can't really make a list. Well, if you can't do that, at least think about it in your head or do something, right? It makes the video so much better for you, as opposed to me saying everything for you. You've got something in your mind that you can actually apply it to. So after we've made the list and we have some stuff that we can actually look at, the next step is change your environment. Right? Changing your environment is so important. And it's so clever. It's a small thing, but we don't really think about it very often. Right? So let's dive into this in a little bit more detail. So when we look into procrastination, and let's say what you do is you go on WeChat or Facebook or Twitter, right? Or Instagram or whatever it is, right? You have an app that you go to. The truth is, it's so easy for you to procrastinate, right? And you do it before, like you say, okay, I'm just going to check, I'm going to check up like a fact on my phone, right? So you pick up your phone and then you see a notification. You click on the notification. 10 minutes later, you're like, oh my God, I was meant to check a fact. What happened? What's happened is your mind literally just got hijacked, right? Because it was so easy for you to click on other things. Now, instead, if your phone was on airplane mode and you made it harder for you to access the apps, you probably wouldn't do it as often, right? And let's say you turned your phone off and you put it in a drawer. The truth is, it's going to be less likely that you're going to procrastinate on it, right? So what's another thing you can stop procrastinating on, right? Let's say you're someone that just watches loads of TV, okay? Well, put your TV in a place that's hard to find, right? Put it in a box and put the key on the other side of the room in another box and then see if you end up watching TV. Right? And it's making your environment harder for you to procrastinate. Because the truth is, it's too easy for us to procrastinate. Right? I remember I used to play these tower defense games. Okay? And I was like, you know what, it's just a time for me to relax, right? So you're there, you got like 5 minutes, you're waiting, and you're like, I'll just have a game or something like that. And you end up being addicted to these things because they're created to like form an addiction, right? That's what games are. They literally think about everything to do between challenge and everything else to make you feel addicted to the game, right? If you look at Candy Crush, right? The reason that they do so well is they literally have an algorithm of like how hard it is and how easy it is and how much challenge they give you and how much new things they give you in each level. And like they've literally defined it so well that each level challenges you that little bit more, adds another new element, is a little bit more difficult for your brain, and you really feel like you're progressing. Like it's literally made in the games, right? So how do you do it? Just delete the games. That's another thing you can do. So you've got to change your environment. So whatever thing that you're procrastinating on, think about how you can change your environment so that it's much harder for you to procrastinate on it. Next is focus on a clear outcome. Right, what do I mean by this? When you're working, when you're doing something, you need a very clear outcome of what you want to do. The reason we procrastinate is often because we actually don't know what to do and it's kind of overwhelming. But instead, you've just got to focus on the outcome. Like that's where you've got to be really clear and plan your day and understand, okay, this is what I'm doing. You know when it's done, you know when it's finished, and then you can relax. But otherwise what happens is it looks so daunting and then you're going to take breaks halfway through instead of having the end goal in mind, if that makes sense. Next, focus on the next step. So what do I mean by this? Well, when we look at a really big task, often we get overwhelmed. We're like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I'm not sure. So instead, you've got to focus on the next task, right? What's next? What's next? What's the next thing to do? And the next thing to do, and the next. And if you just focus on the next thing, then there's always something for you to do, and you have that clarity to help move you forward. Next, and almost the most important thing, and I know I mentioned this earlier, is take a break. Like, you have to take a break in the day. If you don't take a break, you're literally thinking you're a robot and a machine, right? It's proven that our minds will literally start being moving to other places, right? Yes, there are moments where you're in flow, but you've also got to give yourself the time to relax and chill out in the day. Like, take that 5-minute walk, right? Or that 15-minute break to really recharge. Right? I know for myself, I can take small breaks in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I need slightly longer breaks so that I can be really fully focused. Because the truth is, you can't be doing, and your mind gets overwhelmed. Especially when you do so much in the morning and then your brain just gets that frazzled. Have you experienced that before? Right? You know, when your brain is just like frazzled and you really need a break, but then you keep working and then you think you're working, but really you're just procrastinating. So it's better and more important for you to take a break and then actually do work. Because if you think about it, right, if you look at a 40-hour week, right, as soon as you start working over 40 hours, your productivity just starts to diminish. And you won't notice it, right, but it's facts, right? Your productivity just starts to go down and down and down and down and down. And you're just wasting time. It's better for you to recharge, take a rest, and then really move forward. Now, I've actually saved the most important thing to last. So if you've watched this far in the video, you're going to really enjoy this. Now, I'll give you an example, right? So I have a client that I'm working with at the moment, and they own a pharmaceutical business, and he was procrastinating on meeting all these new tests and all these new things, right? Because he felt that he couldn't understand it. He couldn't overcome it. So every time he thought about it, he would find every other thing to do except that. So then what we focused on was understanding, okay, what would happen if you kept that behavior for a really, really long time, right? So looking into that, okay, well, what happens if I do keep procrastinating? Well, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do this. And then what will actually happen, right? Loads of shit will happen. This is where you're getting leverage on people. And then, well, who are you really, right? And then you're looking for this identity, this standard of who you are. So, I'm a person that overcomes challenges. I'm a person that's courageous. I'm a person that just focuses on the next step, right? And I'll leave you with a fantastic quote. And let's see if I can remember this. And that is, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And that's by Zig Ziglar. And what I want you to really focus on now is, okay, even though I'm procrastinating on these different things, if I just start, right, then I can move forward and be great. But prime your environment, make sure that it's hard for you to procrastinate, and please schedule in your rests in the day. I promise you, it will make the world of difference. And you're going to say, but I don't have time to rest. If you don't have time to rest, you don't have time to do anything, because rest is where you can rejuvenate yourself, and then you can really do so much more. And I tell you this, when I think about what I do in the day and I schedule stuff for the morning, in the morning, I'm on gear 5. I fly through so many tasks so quickly. And in the afternoon, evening, I'm like a slowest tortoise ever. Right? Because I feel like I've done so much in the day. So that's where you've got to manage your energy as well and think about, okay, I'm going to blast through that. One more thing that I'll mention is Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. He says, get that hardest task that you really want, that's really hard for you to do, get it done straight away. Do that task, and then the rest of the day is easy. Right? So that's another thing that you can use if you want to overcome procrastination in certain hard tasks that you're doing. So with that, thank you very much for listening. I hope that you can start applying everything that I'm saying, because it's all good at listening. But afterwards, I would say think about something that you're procrastinating on, actually go through these steps and think, okay, well, how can I do this differently? And then start applying it, because that's when your life will change. Your life isn't really going to change just listening to me. It's when you use what I say and actually do something, then your life will change. So with that, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you next week.